Okay, so to give you a bit of an insight into the marking process for English Literature Paper 1 Section A, Romeo and Juliet, and the feedback from your assessments, I'm actually just going to go through some live marking and actually show you some of the things to do with the mark scheme, how marks will be awarded, and approximately the grades that some different examples will get. So the first thing for us to know, and the first thing that I'll just indicate up here, is that there are 3 assessment objectives. And for those 3 assessment objectives, I'm actually going to use 3 separate colours. So we've got AO1, AO2 and AO3. I'll just prepare my page. And AO1 is ideas and quotes. AO2 is the writer's use of devices, methods, so things like language devices, structural devices, dramatic irony, metaphors, symbolism, simile, imagery, those kind of things. And AO3 is context and lots of what we will regularly refer to as the gold, so the kind of bigger ideas of the text. And so in this example, the first thing that you can see is that we're going straight into our analysis. This student should have an introduction. And now that introduction is just going to very briefly outline the basic themes and ideas of the text. It might be something as simple as Romeo and Juliet is a tragic love story of 2 young lovers. In the text, Shakespeare presents Romeo's ideas about love as, and so you're going to use the key word that's in the question. The key words that you had were to do with the way that Romeo expresses love, shows love, his feelings and attitudes towards love. So I'm going to keep saying that as much as I can. Now, what this student has done correctly is first of all referred to the writer by surname, so we like that. He presents Romeo as a young man who is depressed as he loves a girl using oxymorons. Now that is a bit of a strange phrase. He loves a girl using oxymorons. Perhaps that should be he shows his unrequited love for Rosaline using oxymorons, or he shows his feelings towards romantic love using oxymorons. So we just need to tweak that slightly. But this student is absolutely correct. It is an oxymoron. Oh, brawling love, loving hate. So those parts are the oxymorons. This has the effect of showing the reader how he believes that love is cruel to him, as his love is not returned. So there's the ideas about the text. Good. As well as this, it could also show how he is questioning love and why this is happening to him, showing his youth and inexperience. The oxymoron of loving hate, so specifically looking then at a shorter section of the text, has the effect of showing how he thinks that love can feel like the opposite of what he knows it's supposed to be, causing him to feel depressed. Okay, so there's some repetition, a little bit about this idea about love being cruel, depression, there's a little bit of repetition, but generally that's quite a solid paragraph apart from the slight confusion. It does get much stronger, and at this point as an examiner I'm thinking this reads like quite a solid 5. Okay, but it could get better and better, and it certainly does. Secondly, Romeo is presented as being a mercurial lover elsewhere in the play. Now, here, this student has done the correct thing by signposting when they're quoting from the extract and when they're quoting from elsewhere. But here, they need to indicate at the beginning that where they're quoting from is firstly in the extract. And that just makes sure that you pick up all the marks that you deserve, because the question asks you to start with the extract. So you're starting with the extract and then you're going to elsewhere. So you want to signpost in and out at all times, in the extract, elsewhere in the play. Romeo is presented as a mercurial lover. I love the use of that word, that's excellent. Elsewhere in the play, when he uses celestial imagery. So again, we've got some more devices to describe Juliet as having beauty too rich for use, for the earth too dear, or for earth too dear is actually the quotation. This shows how Romeo already holds Juliet at an angelic standard, and he thinks her beauty is otherworldly. This also shows how Romeo quickly forgot Rosaline and changed his feelings towards Juliet. So these are all great ideas about the text, which is why I'm highlighting them for AO1. He quickly forgot Rosaline and changed his feelings towards Juliet. He is a quick lover, he's immature. The metaphor of beauty too rich for use has the effect of showing us how Romeo has already idealised Juliet as his love. Okay, so again, this is getting a little bit stronger. The analysis is a little bit more interesting, a little bit more complex. He's talking about idolatry of Juliet. He's talking about the changeable nature of his love. He's talking about the idea of Romeo as a mercurial lover. We're also getting the sense that the student is very strong in terms of use of devices. So this would then be starting to hint, I think, towards a 6. But does it remain at a 6? Does it get stronger? Let's have a little look. Thirdly, Shakespeare also uses a simile. Once again, he's using a device here, but he hasn't yet indicated whether we are in the extract, whether we're elsewhere in the play. So again, is this in the extract? Is it the wider text? If I'm an examiner, I might have missed that point. So we just need to make sure that we pick up those points for talking about the extract and elsewhere. But he is right there about the quotation. It is a simile. It pricks like thorn. This has the effect of showing how he associates love with pain, whilst love is unforgiving and uncaring of how he feels about it. As well as this, it also shows how Romeo has a prejudice against love, as he knows from experience that it will hurt his mental state. That's interesting. The simile also furthers the idea that love will wound you, but in a way that is nearly invisible to others. This is getting more perceptive now, but is visible if they know what they're looking for. In conclusion, Shakespeare ultimately shows us that Romeo is quick to change his feelings from Rosaline to Juliet, and how he comes out of his depression from Rosaline not returning his love just as quickly, ready to bear the pain of love for Juliet, who he holds at an incomparable standard. So we've got quite a nice conclusion here. It is relatively clear. I would say the analysis itself, you'll notice I've not highlighted anything AO3 for the gold. That's because the points being made here are good, they're solid points, but they're probably going to be halted at around a grade 6 without any of that complex gold in it. So in the next video, I'll show you another example of me marking another one that's just slightly stronger in terms of its overall standard. Okay.